Ginny, and I'll be your driver for the amazing adventure through Harambe Wildlife Reserve. So up above you is an animal spotting guide that's here to assist you in identifying some of the animals. Now we're not going to see all of them, but we usually have pretty good luck. Cameras say if you have them, that's great. Hold on to them. No, I am not allowed to stop and retrieve anything that falls out. There's wild animals out there, and I don't do wild animals on the ground. Now if you do drop something, well, somebody's going to get it for you. Somebody will, just not Ginny. And we are entering into Little Aturi Forest. The key word here is forest. You look around, you're going to see dense vegetation. That means some of the animals will actually be quite hard to see. The Mandrel Monkeys will blend in with their background. Now the gray antelope over here to my left without the horns, those are female greater kudu. Now I know they're girls because there are no horns. Male's horns can grow to be 71 inches long. Now the reddish-brown animals are called bongos. They're also called the ghost of the forest. Very rarely do you see them out in the open during the day. They're more active at dawn and dusk. And over to my right here, right behind that tree, is an okapi. From the back end, the okapi is going to look just like the back end of a zebra. Don't let those zebra stripes fool you, though. It's the only known living relative of the giraffe. You look at its head and neck, you will see the resemblance. Now, watering holes like the one coming up, it's a great gathering place for that animal way up on the top of the ridge up against the wall there. That's a black rhino standing there. Now, sadly, there are less than 5,000 black rhinos left in the wild. Now, they're hunted for the horns on their head. Even on reserves like this, they are not safe. There's another one laying here. Wow, 2 in one day. That's pretty lucky. Now, the black and white bird coming up is a saddle-billed stork. Gets its name from that big yellow square on its bill. Kind of looks like a saddle. And when it finds a mate, well, it'll stay together forever. Kind of a novel idea. Now we're headed towards Safi River. Such a best place to see some hippos. Hippos! The hippos at birth weigh about 85 pounds. And a mature male will tip the scale at about 5,000 pounds. Should see hippos over here on the right. Yeah, there's 2 of them, perfectly suited to live in the water. Their eyes, ears, and nose are all on the top of their head. So you can see and hear what's going on around them and still stay under the water. We should see some more over here on the left, usually a bigger group. Kind of look like big old baked potatoes floating around in the water. We're going to make our way around the bend towards a pretty unpredictable bridge. The reason I bring that up is because the animals that live underneath the bridge are Nile crocodiles. They are ectothermic. They open and close their mouths to regulate their body temperature. They also open and close their mouths to eat. And I'll tell you, they look just a bit hungry to me. We're going to move right on up this hill. We're leaving the forest, heading towards the savannah, an entirely different ecosystem with many different animals. just up ahead is an ancient baobab tree. Kind of looks like somebody planted it upside down, but those are the branches, not the roots. Only gets leaves, about 3 months out of the year. So this is the most amazing view of the savannah. It's part of the Serengeti grasslands. Stretches for hundreds of miles across East Africa. It acts like the superhighway for millions of migrating animals every year. It really is all part of the wild Africa we're all trying to conserve. Sometimes we'll see a pack of wild African dogs. Now they're also called painted dogs. Now they are about 80% more successful at hunting than a pride of lions. That's because they are so athletic. They can literally run an animal until it's so exhausted it just gives up. Lions, well, if they don't catch what they're after right away, they usually go hungry. Over here on my left are some sable antelope. They are the emblem of the reserve. They will purposely lay in a circle so that they can see danger coming at them from any direction. When they have young, they'll put the young in the middle of the circle. Now, zebras out here are Hartman Mountain zebra. Zebra stripes are unique to each animal, just like our fingerprints. No two zebra has exactly the same stripes. Now the mounds of earth that you see dotted throughout the savannah are termite mounds. They bake in the hot African sun where they become hard as concrete. Elephants will use them as a scratching post. When they wear them down, antelope stand on them and look towards the tall grass or predators that might be hiding. Now giraffes out here are Maasai giraffes. They have a jagged, irregular spot pattern. And most everybody knows giraffes are the tallest animals in the world, which they are. What you might not know is they only sleep 30 minutes a day. The rest of the time they're either eating or they're looking for food. Now gray animals are white-bearded wildebeest, one of Africa's largest migration. They will migrate sometimes in the millions. The word wildebeest is Afrikaans for wild beast. The African people gave them that name because of the menacing look. Up underneath the palm trees over here to the right are some Ankole cattle. They're a sign of wealth in Africa, never ever used for meat. They're a status symbol. The more cattle you own, the wealthier you are. So I'm going to head towards the very edge of elephant country. Now, a lone elephant by itself is almost always a male elephant. A group of elephants generally are adult females and their offspring. looks like we've got a mother elephant and one of her youngsters over here on the right. And on the left, a troop of Mandrel monkeys. They are the largest and most colorful monkeys in Africa. Dominant male, he'll weigh about 100 pounds. Females are only about 30. There's a mother elephant and a youngster. Now the biggest threat to elephants are humans. They got elephants for their tusks. Drones are moving into their habitat in very large numbers. Now with the destruction of elephant habitat, puts both humans and elephants into dangerous situations. Many things we can do to help. We can support and join conservation organizations. And the bridge coming up has been quite a challenge to get across, so here's my advice, hang on. I've got my steering wheel to hold on to, you've got each other. Now if you don't have somebody, now's the time to make a new friend. Looks like we're going to make it this trip. But just in case, let's get out of here before something happens. Looks like we've come across some red clay. Elephants will occasionally eat small amounts of this clay. It actually gives them beneficial minerals. Many times you'll see elephants throwing dirt, mud, sand up on their backs. They do that because they sunburn so easily. That's their way of protecting their skin. Kind of acts like a natural sunscreen. Flamingo, palest pink of all flamingos. Now these flamingos gave birth to some baby flamingos just recently. Now if you look underneath the adults, you'll see some fuzzy gray babies. They usually stand underneath the adults and see them there. See them? Little babies. We still have 2 nests that are egg bound. We're not sure when babies will pop out. It takes 28 to 30 days to incubate an egg. on the right, you'll see some white rhinos laying underneath the palm tree. Now, one time they were Africa's greatest success story. Well, sadly, they no longer are. Ruthless poachers are hunting them for their horns. They're hunting them because some cultures believe rhino horns can cure disease like cancer. Rhino horns are the same material our hair and nails are made out of, so they're not curing anything. Yep, that's an ostrich. Now they have feathers and wings, but don't fly. They do run about 40 miles an hour, though. Sometimes over here on the left we'll see some cheetahs roaming around. And they can reach speeds of 60 miles an hour, several hundred yards. They're primarily daytime hunters, and they are the only large cats that purr, just like a house cat. The rock formation coming up is called a copy. It's a good vantage point for large cats. Well, like the lion. Now, the female lions do the majority of the hunting. The male, he's kind of like the house husband. He kind of takes care of the family while the girls go out and get his dinner. Brown antelope coming up on the right is a buck nearly extinct in the wild, even though they're related to the wildebeest. Warthog burrows here in the hillside. Took out by the largest burrowing mammal. Warthogs will dig their own burrows, but once in a while they'll steal somebody else's. Some ostrich eggs on the ground. Largest eggs laid by a bird. Each egg weighs 2 to 3 pounds each. Looks like our journey is coming to an end. I can see the woods post up ahead. These ones are caring for a herd of Nigerian dwarf goats, which are milk goats. Now these little goats can generate quite a bit of milk. So the ones are giving the milk to the village people of Harambe so they can use the milk. And what milk they can't use, well, they're able to sell. They're doing that with the hopes that they'll rely less and less on wildlife and more on domesticated animals like Nigerian dwarfed goats. You see, the goal of conservation is to balance the needs of humans and the needs of animals. And if we can achieve that balance, well, then really everybody wins. And that's what we're striving for here on Earth. choosing Kilimanjaro Safaris today. A safari outfit in East Africa. If folks like the animals we just saw, head on over to Gorilla Falls. Western lowland gorillas, colobus monkeys. My personal favorite would be those naked mole rats. How can you resist a naked mole rat? Not me. I do encourage you to get involved in conservation. Pretty easy to do. All you have to do is recycle. Recycle, reuse, repurpose. All of that can help the environment we live in and the environment that the animals live in. And the more that we do.